Welcome to today's Explainer. We're jumping right in to break down Ford's massive vehicle recall and, honestly, the fascinating corporate pivot that actually caused it. We're going to look closely at how a huge push for technological efficiency led to a startling real-world crisis and the pretty surprising steps the automaker is taking right now to fix it.
741,000. I mean, that is just a staggering number of vehicles Ford recently had to recall. Over 741,000 units are being pulled back because of a severe transmission park system issue. That is a massive footprint of vehicles out on the road today, sitting in driveways and navigating school drop-off lanes as we speak.
Here's a quick look at our agenda for today's Explainer. 1. The massive rollaway recall. 2. Safety risks to owners. 3. The consumer repair process. 4. The AI engineering blunder. 5. Rehiring the veteran engineers. And 6. The impact on brand reputation. All right, let's start with Section 1, the massive rollaway recall. What's really wild here is the wide range of incredibly popular models caught up in this, spanning from 2018 to 2021. We're talking about the Lincoln Navigator, the Ford Expedition, the Explorer, the Aviator, and absolutely, critically, the 2021 Ford F-150. So if you or someone you know drives one of these, please pay close attention, because the risk we're dealing with is definitely not something to take lightly.
Which brings us right to Section 2, safety risks to owners.
So let's get into what's actually happening mechanically under the hood. The core issue is a transmission park system failure. Basically, if the transmission commands certain shifts while you're actually moving, a part called the parking pawl can temporarily engage, and that physically damages the internal park system components. If those parts get damaged while you're driving around, your vehicle might not stay securely parked later on. Even if you physically shift it into park, you're facing a severe unintended rollaway hazard.
And look, I want to be super clear about this. This isn't just some theoretical glitch found in a testing lab. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration has already reported real-world incidents. We're talking 24 property damage claims and 9 alleged injuries linked directly to this failure, which interestingly includes 2 allegations of emotional injuries. An unsecured rolling vehicle drastically increases the risk of a sudden crash.
So, with risks this serious, what exactly should you do right now if your car is affected? Let's talk about how Ford is handling this massive logistical headache. Moving on to Section 3, Consumer Repair Process Outline. Okay, here is the game plan. If your vehicle is on that list, you need to look out for notification letters starting in August of 2026. Once you get your letter, head straight to a Ford or Lincoln dealer. They're going to update your powertrain control module software to the latest version and, more importantly, do a full physical hardware inspection of the transmission. If anything is damaged, they replace those parts entirely for free. And you know, this whole situation really highlights the immense corporate responsibility involved in a recall of this size. Ford has to mobilize its massive dealer network across the entire country. Based on their internal timelines, they anticipate having the final remedy and all parts fully available by April 2027. They have to execute this perfectly. Federal law strictly mandates that dealers cannot deliver new vehicles with this defect. If they do, they face potential civil penalties of up to $27,160 per vehicle. No joke. Now for the really wild part of the story. Section 4. The AI engineering blunder. 11 million. Let that number sink in for a second. That represents the total number of vehicles Ford has recalled in just the first half of 2026 alone. We're talking 51 separate recalls totaling over 11 million vehicles. This points to a massive quality control crisis tied directly to a failed corporate experiment, an experiment the rest of the industry is quietly trying to learn from. To really understand how this happened, we got to look back a few years. Ford leaned heavily into artificial intelligence and made a really bold decision. They let go of their expensive, veteran, gray-beard engineers, the folks with decades of hands-on experience. The idea? Let AI design the systems for a fraction of the cost. But they mistakenly tried to use AI to fill a whole person-shaped hole in their organization. See, AI is brilliant at repetitive tasks and following bounded rules, but it completely lacks human judgment, institutional memory, and that vital ability to troubleshoot weird edge cases. These automated systems were churning out digital renderings and engineering specs that looked absolutely flawless on paper. But as we all know, cars don't drive on paper. The AI completely lacked the unstated rules, the contextual history of what actually breaks in the real world,
and the basic human judgment needed to stop parts from failing on the road. Without those veteran engineers there to double-check the AI's work, flawed designs just went straight to the plant floor. Ford's VP of Vehicle Hardware Engineering, Charles Poon, frankly admitted the error. He pointed out that relying entirely on AI models trained on incomplete data without a veteran in the room to catch those edge case errors, was a massively expensive mistake. The complex context that a 30-year veteran just carries around in their head, you simply can't transfer that to a machine learning model overnight.
So how do you fix a multi-billion-dollar mistake? Section 5. Rehiring the veteran engineers.
Well, Ford pulled a massive corporate U-turn, engaging in what the industry is now calling boomerang hiring. They quietly brought back around 350 of those seasoned veteran engineers. And they weren't brought back just to babysit the AI. They were rehired to run mandatory troubleshooting meetings, rebuild the engineering systems from scratch, and reprogram the automated software to hunt for failure points before bad parts ever reached production. Plus, they were desperately needed to mentor the younger staff who had missed out on years of that crucial institutional knowledge.
Finally, let's look at the fallout in Section 6, impact on brand reputation. The contrast here is honestly unbelievable. On one hand, you have astronomical recall volumes, like the 741,000 vehicles we're talking about today, tied directly to those older AI-engineered models from roughly 2018 to 2021. But on the other hand, since bringing those 350 human engineers back into the room to oversee production, Ford just rocketed its newest vehicles to the absolute #1 spot in J.D. Power's initial quality survey, even beating out historic reliability giants like Toyota and Honda. It's literally a tale of two eras within the exact same company.
As we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with this thought. As technology rapidly advances, discovering the exact line between machine efficiency and human judgment might just be the most expensive lesson a company can learn. Ford spent billions figuring it out. So, what task in your own life or business would you hand to a machine tomorrow, and what absolutely requires the irreplaceable, real-world context of a human being?